Statistics is the science of analyzing data to come to different conclusions. So the very first thing that you generally need to do is find yourself some data. The easiest way in most cases to collect data, especially when you're dealing with collecting data from people, is just to ask them questions, and usually that's done in a survey. So a very simple survey might look something like this, where you have a series of questions and you expect the people who are taking your survey to respond. And there's lots of different ways to ask questions. So for example, which character or series do you prefer, Batman or Iron Man? The person who is responding does not have a lot of freedom in this type of question. They're given one option or the other. They have to choose one, and they cannot choose both, and they cannot say that there's a third option they prefer. Same thing here, asking about an old election, you have to choose one of the candidates. If you don't like either of them, or if you like both of them, that's not an option. So questions like this can be very limiting to the person responding, but it also can help you get a little bit easier data to analyze on the other end, and we'll look at that later. How strongly you feel about your vote. This type of question, a scale question, sometimes called the Likert Scale, gives you, let's say, a 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to 7, generally some sort of scale where you have to rank something. And those types of questions can give you some interesting graphs to work with and makes it a little bit easier to understand your data. Scrolling down here, we have some other types of questions too. How many calories do you eat per day? Here you can type any number you want in the box. So in this case, let's say you eat 2,000 calories per day, or 5,000 or 1,000, whatever it might be. But you type in a number, and you could type in any number, and if you wanted to be a very difficult person, you could type in a number like this, 1,999.57 calories per day, because any number would be accepted. How many Facebook friends do you have? Same idea here. How many siblings do you have? This is a slightly different type of numerical question, because here, although all of the options are numbers, we don't let you get fancy. We don't let you say, oh, I have 3.5 siblings or something like that. We force you to choose one of our predetermined options, because basically we're saying we don't think that you're going to have anything besides one of these options, and if you do, there is the last one, 12 or more, would be an acceptable answer. How many pets do you have? Same type of idea. Again, more multiple choice questions here, and a numeric question. There's also more open questions that you can ask, where you would ask people to type in a short response, such as a word. Maybe a question lets you ask you your name, and you type it in to the box. Or a question asks you, describe how you feel about something. And that's a very open-ended question, but that's going to be a lot harder to analyze on the other side. So you just have to figure out what type of information it is that you want to collect when you create your surveys. I'm going to show you real quick how to create your own survey. If you go to Google Drive and you go to Create, you can go to Form, and this is going to set up a simple form to create your own Google Forms survey. And Google Forms is a nice, simple way to both create, deliver, and then analyze your survey data. So let's call it My First Survey. And you can choose a theme, and we're going to make ours fun. So we're going to do it fish style. And then it has your title up here. Generally, requiring the login you don't want to do for most surveys because it's going to make it just harder for the people you want to take it to access it. There are cases where you would want that, but generally we'll uncheck that. And on your first question here, let's say, what is your favorite color? So you just type the question, and if you need some extra information for someone, I would think this is a pretty straightforward question. Question type, we're going to make this multiple choice. You have quite a few different options to choose from here, and we'll look at those in a moment. So let's say we're going to only give them the choices of red, purple, green, gold. You could add as many choices as you want people to have, and then they would get to choose one of these multiple choice answers here. You could also set this up as choose from a list, and it would be effectively the exact same question, except instead of a multiple choice where you choose a little bubble, you would have a drop-down menu, kind of like this is a drop-down menu where you choose something from here. You can click done. If you click required, it forces people to answer it. Generally, that's a good idea for most questions. So you can click done, and there is your question. There is your drop-down menu right there. To edit it, you can generally click on it or click the pencil. Add an item, so you're adding a new question, and there's lots of different options you can choose from. Let's say, how old are you? Depending on how much you trust the people answering, you could give them an open text box where they type in their answer, 12, 14, 16, 18, whatever, and hope that they type in a number. Hope that they type in a reasonable number, not a decimal or anything goofy like that either. If you want to be more restrictive, you could make it multiple choice and assume that everyone taking your survey is between the ages of 15 and 19, for example. But otherwise, text is generally a good option for something like a numeric question. If you want to ask someone to rate something, so how much do you like whatever, then a scale is often a good way to do it. So if you give them, let's say, 1 to 10, hate it, love it, and then it'll give you options from 1 to 10 to choose in that range. So you can explore the different types of questions you have. Checkbox and multiple choice and choose from a list are all going to be very similar. Checkboxes let you choose multiple options, so maybe choose all colors you like instead of choosing your favorite color, because you could choose multiple of them. The text and paragraph text are the most open types of responses. You could type anything into it. The text response generally is for just like a word or a short phrase. Paragraph text would be if you want them to type a longer answer, but it's going to give them basically the same freedom to type. The scale is for ranking something. Grids get a little bit more complicated. You have different rows and columns, and I'll just do this as an example here to show you what this looks like. You would have people choosing different things in the grid that they could click on. So they could click something from maybe size of shorts and color of shorts I would like to buy, choose one of those. So that's something we probably won't see a whole lot. The other options here are generally things you're not going to use, but you're free to experiment. At the bottom, the default options are generally pretty good. Show a link to submit another response. So if you have, let's say, an iPad or something and someone takes your survey, they could pop open a new survey for the next person. Publish it and show the results. Generally, you don't want to show the results right away to the people taking it, so you can leave that unchecked. And allowing people to edit can also be problematic if they're taking multiple surveys on the same device. So leaving that as is. If you view the live form, you can see your theme show up in the background. You can see all of your questions and kind of play around with it, make sure that it works the way you expect it to. And that is your survey, so good luck.